サントリーウイスキーがあります。わかりますね。感情を込めてゆっくりとカメラを見て優しく、そしてあなたの古い友達に会うように言ってください。カサブランカのボギーのように君の瞳に乾杯。サントリータイム。
He wants you to turn, look in camera. Okay?
That's all he said?
Yes. Turn to camera.
This is a tale of communication, or perhaps miscommunication. Whenever we think of a different culture, there is always a bunch of holes in what we think they are, what we think they do, how they live, or how they communicate. Holes we fill with guessings and even with prejudices. This is the tale of Charlotte, Bob, and Louise. This is the tale of them in front of worlds they didn't imagine to be as vast and different. This is at the same time the tale of those worlds trying to communicate with them. By the time I first watched Arrival, I was amazed by how we seem to be threatened for what we don't know. Those who can't express their intentions to us are put almost immediately in the range of danger. Sadly, we don't take the time to comprehend where they're coming from or how they relate to us, and this is what Louise tries to do. She understands that politics doesn't make sense if it doesn't have the other as purpose. Our personal ideas are in constant evolution, and that's, I think, a strong reason for which we should allow ourselves to know who is around us. Alexandre Dumas starts his book, The Lady of the Camellias, like this. I always thought that an author to create imaginary characters out of study mankind, just as one cannot learn a language without great application. The study of heptapods allows Louise to fully understand their language and therefore their purpose on Earth. By learning their language, she was able to realize that they had a different mental structure than hers, and we were doing so in parallel. Whenever we watch the movie for a second time, we already have the tool to comprehend its structure, and that's where I think is the greatest lesson of this film. It shows us a new way to read it by letting us learn at the same time that Louise does. All of this using this circular montage. And lost in translation, Charlotte and Bob are encapsulated in their own world because they didn't know how to speak Japanese. Contrary to Louis' situation, they are not interested in learning this new language. They were strangers, which perhaps is more shocking for both, letting them to lock themselves in their own minds until the moment they met. Sophia Coppola, the director, used many beautiful visual metaphors to convey the feelings of disappropriation. Flowing between empty space and imbalance of the frame, Coppola portrays what's going inside the minds of Bob and Charlotte. That introspection, translated into their relation with space, makes us wonder about communities. They contain us and give us identity, but what could happen if instead we seek to potentiate our differences to make a community around us? Maybe that could eliminate the anxiety caused by the atypical.
What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
According to Socrates, our thinking is driven by questions, and questions are driven by the uncanny. In fact, every intellectual field is born out of a cluster of questions to which answers are either needed or highly desirable.
Hello?
Lauren?
Charlotte, hey!
Hey,
Oh my god, how's Tokyo?
it's great here. It's really great. I don't know, I went to this shrine today, and there were these monks and they were chanting, and I didn't feel anything, you know?
Allowing us to meet the uncanny or the different could be liberating. Liberating for the mind thirsty for knowledge. This will break the barriers we put between humans. In Arrival and Lost in Translation, those barriers are represented by windows. Because even when windows allow the entrance of light and let us see the other side, they do not let us pass by. When Louise enters the spaceship, she is illuminated. She is given real knowledge. Shall we overstep those windows too? Hi guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you have liked it, and thanks for all of the support that I have been receiving the past few weeks. Thanks to that, I have decided to keep posting twice a month. So subscribe and give thumbs up to this video. And also, for those wondering, I am from Colombia. I do speak Spanish, but I also speak French and Italian, and I'm learning to speak Korean. So if you are learning a new language or you already speak a new language, please let me know at the comments below. Let's start a conversation, and do not let the language to become a barrier between us. See ya.